for life, for life.
What's happening, everybody? The Job Guys back with you again. Nick and Ryan, and we are kicking off the road to WrestleMania by running back maybe the worst WrestleMania of all time, Nick. And somehow this has been our most requested run it back for WrestleMania. None other than WrestleMania IX.
Fucking thing sucks!
Arguably the worst show of all time. I would definitely say at least the worst of the first 10, Nick.
100% of the worst 10. I can't go. 28?
27.
27 is the Miz Cena.
Mm-hmm.
11. This, I mean, you can make an argument. This is a bad show.
And that's our review. Thank you, folks.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time.
Sums it up. It's absolutely horrible. Start and finish. It's terrible.
All right. And that's it. Do not watch this show.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Well, let's jump right into it, man. Let's not waste any time here. Nick, 1993. Everything has changed since 1992. We talked about this on one of our other Run It Back shows. 1992, man, all their dudes are gone. Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, British Bulldog, LOD, Sid, all gone in 1992. Then Nails, not a huge deal, but they were pushing that guy. He's gone. Jake the Snake Roberts is gone. Rowdy Roddy Piper is gone. Then the beginning of 93, in the first month, you lose Marty Jannetty and Ric Flair and the Big Boss Man. All gone. This is the start of the new generation because it had to be. They didn't have any dudes, Nick.
No. I mean, you talked about what could have been for this Mania if you had some of those dudes. And the first number of dudes, man, you listed, those are guys that main evented pay-per-view. Even LOD. I mean, that is a huge, some people argue,
the greatest.
One of, if not the greatest of all time.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I went back and looked at a bunch of the torches leading up to this. Shout out to Wade Keller. Here's Wade Keller's WrestleMania predictions for 9. Coming on December 7th out of the torch. Remember, Lex Luger also debuts at the Royal Rumble as the Lexorcist. Excuse me, the narcissist, Lex Luger. He has the main event on December 7th being Hulk Hogan returning to fight the Lexorcist.
The Lexorcist Lark.
In the main event. That is followed by world title match, Bret against a newcomer, Bam Bam Bigelow. HBK against Randy Savage for the IC title. I don't know why this is. I think maybe they had something going in Memphis. Jerry Lawler against Marty Jannetty. Undertaker against Nails in an electric chair match.
What?
The loser, Nick, is sentenced to death.
okay.
So we were going to kill a man here.
Yeah.
And then the Steiner brothers, who are also brand new, taking on Money Incorporated. Then he also puts in quotes, this is purely speculation.
I would compare it to a Springsteen concert.
That
Any
card's
thoughts
better.
on that? Well, it's better.
It's better. It's way better.
Especially when you kill a guy.
Yeah, I mean, killing a guy on live TV will draw ratings. That card is light years better. I would rather see that freaking card.
Yeah. Here we go. Enough of the background, whatever. Here we are. Caesar's Palace, Las Vegas,
Opened up.
Nevada. And the first thing you notice is exactly that, Nick. That's what I wanted to say. Boom. They make this thing look like a Roman Colosseum. Hey, and I sound like Mr. Perfect over here. Like Rome. You know, it's Caesar's Palace. Everybody's in their togas, all this stuff. It looks pretty cool. You would never know that this is just a bunch of bleachers set up in a parking lot. That's pretty much what Caesar's Palace in Vegas was. It's outside, and it's just like a high school football field. I mean, that's pretty much all it is. Looks awesome. First event ever for Jim Ross. He starts the show getting the toss from Gorilla. I was shocked. I don't know about you. I was absolutely, I'm like, holy crap, the WCW guys here? Strange beginning, though, but it made it feel big. I don't know what you thought, especially with the look and everything.
They went full in. That's the first thing I was thinking. Even the announcers are making references, puns, things like that, too, of the Roman era. And you looked around, everybody, is it Todd Pettengill? Is that the guy I'm thinking that was up in the crowd? You know, he's even interviewing people. He's in a toga. You know, they went. My first thing is they went all in. And on the Jim Ross thing, I was bummed that I'm like, where's Gorilla?
Yeah. Well, he was there, but he's the one throwing it to him. Yeah.
And you can see it because I think they show a picture of him. And that was one of the shocking things to me. Gorilla looks old on this one. Like, he doesn't look like the Gorilla that I'm used to. I don't know why. Maybe I just had been out of it. But yeah, you can see it. Changing of the guard in the announce team.
Yep. Well, and JR doesn't look like we're used to either, and I don't mean that with what his Bell's palsy. I mean,
very young.
You can tell that Vince is producing him here. Go watch it. He is so animated. It's incredible. You can totally tell Vince McMahon is telling him, energy, brother. Let's go, pal. He's like jumping out of his It was shocking. I have not watched this in quite a while. So he's a little too excited here. Then the Macho Man comes out with the Vestal Virgins. He's like laying down on I don't know what you call it.
Feeding him grapes and stuff. Yeah.
Feeding him grapes. He gets a massive ovation.
Macho Man.
He's the Macho Man. Then Bobby Heenan comes out. This is classic, man. He's backwards on a camel, acting like he's scared to death. It's great. He needs, get me off of this thing, whatever. They finally get him off, and he comes down like backwards, all bent over. Macho lifts his toga up, and then we see the full blue moon, brother. And I'm not talking about the tap down at the corner. We see the full blue moon. This whole thing goes like 9 minutes. It's a little long.
It's a long entrance.
And then, boom, HBK's music hits. Second year in a row, we were supposed to get HBK against Jannetty. The Rockers break up. Jannetty keeps getting fired. We don't get it. We get Tatanka, who is undefeated and holds 2 victories over Shawn Michaels. That was the selling point here for the IC title. Luna comes out behind him.
It's not hot.
Out of nowhere. Who is this? We don't know who she is, Nick. I had no clue. And she's making her debut here. The boy toy over here with this kind of freaky looking.
Did not fit. And she seems like she's been smoking a pack a day for 30 years when you hear her speak. And she's not. And again, credit to her. I'm sure she's in character, and she's got her hair cut. Not the kind of typical female we're used to seeing HBK. This is the guy, the heartthrob, the heartbreak kid.
Yeah, dude.
It just didn't fit.
Yeah, she looks like she came walking through the desert from the Bunny Ranch. What she was wearing Crush is like the Hawaiian guy now. Did Crush give her his demolition outfit? Like, what is this?
After it was run over about 3 times. But yeah.
Sherry came out too. Anything about this match, Nick? Go ahead. People like this match. To me, I'm like, it dragged and dragged.
It did. And I'm sorry. Tatanka is not. He's over as you could be in 93. He's not over. Like, it's a dude. He wasn't an immediate channel changer, if that's in 93. Yeah. But, he's not getting you to tune the channel into the wrestling network either, WWF at the time. I don't know, man. I didn't hate the guy, but I just didn't care about the guy.
Yeah.
It seems like he was a 70s or 80s gimmick in the 90s.
Yeah, in this new generation.
It's not working for me, brother.
Well, the announcing is so bad. And granted, they had never worked together before. So, there's a little, but there was numerous things during this show that they said that I don't think they realized, like, they were burying the product by doing it. Like, I think this match dragged forever, and I thought it then, and I do still today. Macho Man says at one point during the match, he goes, "This match should be over now." And then the brain says, "It should have been over 30 moves ago." And you're like, Yeah, it should have been. Yeah, thank you.
It's not like we got a sweet finish.
No,
the finish sucks.
The finish was terrible. And the ref,
terrible.
so there's like a DQ or a count out or whatever. The ref gets in the ring and pretended like he was going to count the pinfall, and then he changes his mind and calls for the bell. Like, what in the world are? It was bad. It was bad.
And let's keep tabs. Maybe you can put them up. First DQ of the night.
Yep. Yeah. Ding. Put up a little number. Macho says, "Don't get too excited about the belt changing hands, brother, because I'll tell you what." And then he doesn't tell us. He just stops talking.
No one knows what to say.
And then he says what I mentioned earlier about the ref. He goes, the ref should have called for the belt earlier. What a bad ending to a great match.
Look at you, giant idiot.
He's just burying this.
He's, and you know, I have this dude on my personal Mount Rushmore. He sits at four
for wrestling.
For wrestling, yes. He can cut a wicked promo. He can work with any dude in that ring, whether you're 5'4" or 7'4". He can work with you. It was so bad, man.
Yeah.
He lost his train of thought, didn't finish sentences. I'm sorry. Mr. WrestleMania, Sean's got some amazing matches. This one's a stinker.
I think so.
I don't like it. And it's got a terrible, and again, so much is based on the ending, and the ending's terrible.
And some people say it's the best match of the night. Well, that's not setting the bar too high, brother.
For life.
The Head Shrinkers taking on the Steiner Brothers, making their one and only appearance at WrestleMania.
Islanders negative 2.0.
Right.
They just a worse Islanders. They're worse in the ring. Their gimmick is, again, another one from the 70s or 80s.
The Wild Samoans.
Creeping into the 90s. You know, the Islanders look better than these guys. The Islanders work better than these guys. It just, in the match, I guess it's okay. I mean, it's nothing special. At least it finishes.
Well, yeah, and there's a couple people in that say, oh, this was a great match. I'm like, it's not. I don't know. Like, Steiner nearly died at one point, I thought, during the night. When he goes over the rope, I'm like, oh, my gosh. Scott Steiner, that is.
Scott Steiner, yep.
Yeah, I'm like, how is he alive? And then he probably hits the worst Frankensteiner of his career. He lands then again on his head and picks up the victory. First of all, Bruce Pritchard is on record saying he and Pat Patterson wanted a debuting Scott Steiner to win the Rumble and then become the face of the company and win the belt at WrestleMania IX. That obviously did not happen. Instead, and there's got to be a Vince thing, dude, what was with the Steiner Brothers music in WWE, man? It's like the most generic college fight song ever.
It's straight out of an 80s movie or something, a fight song, a cheesy
like a community college fight song.
Yeah, or some fight song they would put on a Nintendo video game for a college on the video game or something. It's
funny
terrible.
You mentioned that because Scott Steiner looks like he came off the cover of TNC Surf Designs in this. Like, what are these freaking guys wearing, man? And they wore that crap until he turned a Big Papa Pump.
And the Head Shrinkers just suck.
Well, what I want to know with them is like Rikishi. Like, what happened to him 7 years later? This is what I want to know. You know, he's 5'2", and like he's not a small man at this point. So don't get me wrong, but holy crap! Like, what happened from this to 7 years later? Like, did Vince tell this dude, "Look, pal, I don't ever want you to go to the gym." Ever. I don't care what you do. Even if you go to the mall, do not walk down the aisle that has the Planet Fitness. Don't even go down there. I don't care if Neiman Marcus is down there. You can't fit in anything anyway. Like,
we don't want a wrestler. We want a left tackle. It's like,
we want a whole line. Like,
what the hell, man?
Like,
I don't know.
Got big.
For life.
Then we get Doink against Crush. Speaking of the Bunny Ranch, like I said, what happened to this dude? He goes from wearing an S&M outfit in Demolition to becoming
2 days 2 days later, it's as bad as Apollo Crews, who's an African warlord now. You know, that was just like, wait a minute, weren't you like a fitness guy or something?
Oh, no,
5 minutes ago?
I was faking my American accent.
Yeah.
Like, he's a surfer now with a blonde mullet from Kona, Hawaii. I am from Kona, Hawaii. This is an incredible transformation. Forget Rikishi gaining 1 million pounds. He goes from bondage to freaking a surfer, and he's calling everybody Pineapple Head now.
I know. Oh God. And his finishing move, which does hurt.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I put it on my little brother. if you grab someone's temples and push them in, oh man, it hurts, man. I'll tell you.
Breaking news here.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But
here we go though. Somehow I did not hate Crush for 5 minutes there as a kid. Don't know why. I didn't hate it.
Like he was a big dude. Like he was a big, that presence, I guess, maybe. Yeah. You know, you were willing to give him a shot.
I kind of like the music. All right, and then, you know, the bell rang. But what I did hate was Doink, who he's fighting. Now, I didn't absolutely despise heel Doink. Face Doink was the worst thing ever. But anyway, this match ends. He hits him with the cast. Like another Doink comes from under the ring, hits him. Then they do the mime thing like they're Charlie Chaplin or whatever is going on. And, you know, that's that. My only thing, I don't think this is awful, but it was just like, okay. I think it's funny now, though. You mentioned Mr. Perfect. All of a sudden, heel Doink is like this cool thing now. I have no idea how and why. Like, there's like this wave of people that love heel Doink now.
It was not cool, folks. I'm with you. The heel Doink was okay. It could be used for low mid card. No problem with that. Dude, it's this right here. This is not a WrestleMania match.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's not. Doink the Clown versus Kona Crush. Just say it. It's not. It's terrible. This is not. I wouldn't even want to see this on Saturday night's main event. I mean, this is a close to Superstars.
You don't want to see it on Superstars.
It's terrible.
Speaking of quick and easy, thank God this one was, because the next match is Razor Ramon, who has not even been in the company a year, against Bob Backlund.
Holy crap.
Who returned to the company after 9 years, losing the belt back in the day. He is back. They're fighting each other for no reason whatsoever. That did happen sometimes back then. No reaction for Razor when he comes out. And if you thought that was bad, dude, it was crickets for Bob Backlund. Heenan goes,
know who he is.
The way this guy looks, Heenan, one of his better lines of the night. Hey, Opie returns as he runs down the aisle. And I'm just looking at this dude.
Look at you. Nice hair, idiot.
We didn't have the internet back then, let alone YouTube and whatever. So, like, I knew he was the champ. I didn't know anything or care
Never
anything.
Seen him.
I knew Bruno. I knew superstar Billy Graham.
What's your name? I don't care. Shut your mouth.
I didn't know nothing about this dude. And he comes out looking like some woman's 80s jacket with the ruffled shoulder pad USA coat. I mean, the only thing he was missing was the poofy bangs. Like, that's all this guy was.
He looked like some coach that they just brought in off the street. You know, I mean, he was. And if you go back, I don't remember him being on a lot of those Coliseum videos either. So I didn't get a look at this guy. Like, I don't know who this is. And okay, he's a former champion. And Ryan, this is going to sound bad because of the time they're bringing guys back today, like Goldberg and Lesnar, and you know, I felt like that. I was like, this guy's old. Like,
yes.
I don't know what I was like. This guy should not be here. I don't want to see him. He couldn't be more vanilla. You know, I mean, from everything, literally from his look and to his charisma, everything. I mean, this dude was awful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my dad made fun of me because Bret Hart was my guy during this era. My dad made so fun of me when this dude beat Bret Hart, and I was so mad. I have never been so more. I wanted to break things. Like, this dude beat.
Yeah. Well, dude, think about this, man. I agree with you. I have that written down. He was 43 at this point.
Which is
And it seemed like he was older than that. That's AJ Styles' age right now. 43 years old.
Felt like he was 80.
I got 78 written down.
Oh, God.
Ew, Grandpa, you sharted.
Yeah, we acted like this guy was 78 years old. Heenan is the only thing keeping this even possibly watchable. Because he's been gone for so long because he was a paper boy in Mayberry. Opie is so like not over here. I mentioned that Razor got crickets when he came down. Well, they start chanting for Razor immediately
because nobody knows, even if he's the face. This is and it literally was it felt like a new generation of wrestling fans were coming in.
Yeah,
these people and you're talking me and you who had been with the company for years now. Who the hell is this guy?
Well, and that's another thing, dude. You nailed it. Like, we mentioned all the new guys. It's like nothing but new guys. And then him.
His name is Jeff Hardy.
It just didn't fit. It was all new dudes. And then the oldest guy we possibly could find.
In an era that was really gimmicky, whether you like it or not, that's what it was.
Yeah.
It was really, you had to have some sort of charisma. It was more talking. It was more pageantry, and this dude is just a dude.
Yeah.
Like it just could not be, like I said, more of an, just stood there wrestling tights. He looked like he was from the 70s and I didn't want to see him at all, ever.
It may be 70s. Yeah. He looked like he was boy next door to the Beeve.
Yeah.
I mean, it was bad. So then we go to the
and Razor wins.
Razor wins. The crowd. It's his first like major win ever. He says one more for the bad guy, which we would then later hear a couple years down the road, a little different version of that same thing.
One more for the good guy.
So double main event on this one. It is Hogan returning, tagging up with his brother, the Bionic brother, Brudai, taking on the tag champs, Money Incorporated. Another match with no finish really here. The big news here, let's just get this out of the way. Hogan shows up with a black eye. Thoughts on that? And through the years, apparently it was a jet ski accident. That sounds very like shady.
The other one I keep hearing, Savage and him got into it.
Now, I have a theory on this.
I would love to hear, because from what I've heard, everybody keeps sticking. True to him, as much as Hogan's stories drift over the years, he's pretty stayed steady with this was a jet ski accident. This has never changed for him to my knowledge.
Yeah, and it sounds ridiculous because he says he got hit at like 40 miles an hour or something. Like, pretty sure that Brutus got kneed in the face, and that almost killed him. This guy gets hit with a jet ski, and anyway, that's why people think it's weird. Savage didn't do this either, because think about the last few years before Savage died, or last 10. He would never not say anything bad about Hogan. He made a song about Hogan. He trashed Hogan at every single stinking opportunity. You don't think he would say, "Yeah, I jacked him the night before WrestleMania IX." No wonder you won't be a man, Hogan. Last time I took you out. Like, he wouldn't take credit for that.
I didn't even think about that. You're right. He hated him.
But people also think he banged Stephanie. Come on. He would take credit for that because he didn't like that guy. Anyway, so let's get into this match.
The Warrior shows up. Beefcake. He has like the Warrior's face paint on. It looked like the Warrior stuff.
It did. It was kind of the logo. Yeah. Your thoughts on the match is awful. You want to talk about going forever? It is. It just drags and drags.
In my opinion, that sucked.
When they took their belts, I was like, just please walk away. Like, just keep walking. If they don't get back in the ring, I'm like, no, let them walk.
That was their
bad.
gimmick. They always walked out of the ring.
They did. I just didn't. I didn't want to see this, man. I'm sorry. I did not want to see Hulk Hogan in a tag match at WrestleMania. I didn't even want to see him win the tag titles. I'm like, what the hell? I don't want to watch Hogan in the tag division.
Yep.
You know, so that right off the bat really soured me on this match, and I couldn't have cared less. And I wanted to see Money Inc. versus a real tag. I want Steiner Brothers, you know, or something like that. And the match has just not worked great.
No.
Brutus, I mean, if this is one you want to criticize him on, people, I'll let you. He doesn't work great in this match. You know, he's always like fighting about his face, you know, and stuff like that. Doesn't want to get hit. I don't know. I think it's just an awful match and a terrible finish. I think the Mega Maniacs lose.
Yeah, they lose.
DQ.
Yeah, they lose by DQ. I'm with you, man. I remember seeing the first promo of WrestleMania IX, and it had Hogan, and he turned around and he flexed or whatever. I'm like, oh, Hogan's coming back. And then it was this tag team match. I did the same thing. I don't want to see him fighting a tag team. Plus, I'll tell you, you know, you and I, massive Ted DiBiase fans. We love the $1 Million Man. I could not stand Money Incorporated. Their matches were always terrible because they always just left, and they were working with natural disasters. But like IRS, okay, even Ted could not save IRS. I mean, I'm freaking 12 years old, dude. I don't care about no taxes. I'm not worried about taxes. The only taxes I'm worried about is like my 39-cent cheeseburger at McDonald's now costs 43 cents because there's tax on it. That's the only taxes I freaking care about. I'm 12. I don't care. That means nothing to me. Like, get out of here, dude. And the other thing is, it's April 5th or something when this was. Taxes are due April 15th. How am I supposed to get my taxes done if you're in Vegas? Like, you better get your butt back to H&R Block, pal. Get my stuff going.
Right.
Like, look, buddy, we got 10 days. But no, like, it just meant nothing to me. Yeah,
I pull the tie. I never understood. Like, I didn't like guys wrestling in crap like that because again, this starts the cheesiness. This starts the ridiculousness. You know, a guy's wrestling in slacks, a button up, and a tie. Why don't you just hang him with the tie?
The only thing I liked about this feud at all were the promos when Hogan had the Halliburton and he just kept drilling Beefcake in the face with him to show like, oh, he's got his face mask, brother. He's going to be good. And he just keeps walking by and hitting him in the head.
Brutus can't be hurt. Surprise!
It just looked hilarious because he's just drilling his friend with a briefcase and he's no-selling it. Anyway, so this match just ends. Hogan poses because he must pose, and he throws real money out. Natalie Cole is there and is like, this is real freaking money. Like, Natalie Cole, why are you here? All right, next match. Luger, perfect. 2 1/4 stars in the torch. This match did not work for some reason. I don't know why it didn't work for me. What do you think about it?
It's the first. It's my favorite match right now on this card because of their names. It's the first one that's a WrestleMania match. When you read this card, Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect versus Lex Luger is a big match.
Yeah.
It's two dudes, two names. Now, I'm with you. The match wasn't worked well. But again, you're and I don't hate him. Like, you're in there with Luger, so you are limited. Luger is not the greatest worker inside that ring. But you know, I also got the feeling, dude, they're not going. This is where they're not going with Hennig. Like, this is where, you know, he's big at the Rumble this year. He throws out Flair and then he retires.
Big comeback.
Flair.
Yeah.
Big comeback. I mean, and he's popped, he's over. Yeah, they're not going with him.
And Luger says like that Hennig got in the ring and he could have been ribbing him mostly, but he was like, he completely forgot. He's like, dude, I don't remember what to do. Like, they had some stuff mapped out and Luger says he just forgot him. So,
hell, he's a known ribber, so it could be. I mean, he's one of the worst from what I've read in the back. He was always into that crap. So I don't know, maybe. he always seemed very professional in the ring in the matches. From what I've heard,
Yeah.
I actually spoke with Bret Hart at a book signing. I did, and I got to talk with him for a minute, and Bret Hart said that dude's like one of the best dudes he's ever worked with.
Are you serious? How do I've never known this? When was that?
I got it. It was around 1999. I got
Really?
or 98, 99, somewhere in there.
I thought you were going to say something hilarious. I was like,
I gotta, I'll bring the coffee book home. I got it signed for him. It was remember that coffee table book he had?
Yeah.
The Bret Hart book? Yeah, I got that signed by him.
Where was that at?
Saginaw. Oh, I will tell you this. I was like, yeah, Bret, you, Hennig, and Hogan are my favorite. And he's like, yeah, Henning's a good worker. And he said nothing about Hogan. Man.
Beat it, brother. Conversation's over.
I was like, yeah, you guys have put on some good good matches. I've enjoyed it. He's like, yeah, Hennig can really go. He's like, Hennig does a lot. I was like, yeah, I like Hogan too. And he's like, okay,
cool, man.
Yeah. He probably went back in his mind, like, I effing hate him.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Dude, all I gotta say about this is the entrance. Luger comes out with a bunch of girls.
That's nice.
Macho Man is just like, yeah, I see a couple things I like already.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's so bad.
Oh yeah. And then Heenan gets going. And then he's talking about one of them kept giving me the eye last night at the tables. And then once again, JR, I've been to over a dozen rodeos in Oklahoma. I've never seen anything like this. Don't care. The girls pick up the mirrors and Lex flexes.
How you doing?
Maybe it's Jerry. He goes, look at this. This is, very impressive. Yeah, super impressive. There's like some sparklers shooting off of a mirror. Super. Oh, my gosh. That is so impressive. He goes, this is something, man. This is something. And Macho just keeps going. He goes, yeah, those chicks are something.
Like he says he'd like take one of them or something like that on there. I'm like,
yeah,
God, dude.
There was a couple.
Meanwhile, Liz is in a closet.
Yeah, dude. He goes, Luger looks awesome. You know, Heenan, of all people, because Luger was his guy, but JR and Macho just keep talking about the girls. They're acting like Luger's not even there. Heenan keeps trying to bring them back, and he's like, Luger looks awesome. Macho, yes, he does, but I haven't looked at him one time yet.
Yeah.
Then he's like, Luger outshines them all. But the good then Perfect comes out while the girls are walking back up the aisle. He's coming out and he throws the towel behind his back, and catches it right in front of him. Like, that's super impressive. Like, they're gonna be.
I thought it was freaking sweet as a kid. Like, I don't know why those girls weren't impressed, man.
That's like his peacock strut. You know how peacock. He goes, watch this, ladies.
What?
Yeah,
surprised
here's my phone
number.
Spit
his gum and smash it into one of their heads.
That would have been the greatest. One of the chicks does like touch him, and he just smacks her hand off.
Yeah, like I said, I hope the Me Too movement does not need to watch WrestleMania 9.
No. And my last thing here, dude, what was this Luger outfit?
It's horrible.
He looks like some dude. Like from the 50s, like a spaceman from the 50s TV.
This whole WrestleMania is so weird with stuff like that. Like, what are they doing with this dude? Didn't you watch him in WCW? I mean, he was relatively over.
Yeah.
Down there.
He was over
he was
for a while.
World champ.
Right before he came here. Yeah, they put the belt on him and then he had to sit for a year.
What are they doing with this dude?
He looked like the Beverly Brothers in space. Remember their stupid outfits, the capes or whatever? That's like what he was wearing.
Look at you, giant idiot.
Next match, it's The Undertaker taking on Giant Gonzales.
Bunch of crap.
I'll just start out by saying Gonzales comes out. He's wearing that hair outfit that everybody's ripped on a million times, so I'm not going to say too much more about that. This speaks for itself. Taker comes down. They started the special entrances with him at SummerSlam the year before when he came out on the hearse or whatever. Well, he comes down on like some Roman chariot. Is that chariot? Okay. Yeah, chariot. That's right. What it is. looks super scary. He's got like a vulture next to him or something. Oh my gosh. Well, the only problem is the big scary evil dead man guy has Roman guys pulling him. Totally doesn't fit. And his chariot has a giant WWF logo on it. Like the big scary evil guy.
I almost soiled myself.
They couldn't have went Greek gods, maybe had like Hades and maybe like some of his legions pulling him out or something like that.
Anything. And he's corporate because he's got the big WWF. He's a corporate evil man. Anyway, I don't know. No druids, none of that. Yeah, Heenan is kind of funny during this again. He's talking about how big the guy is constantly. This guy could pull him a Buick. Was a good line. Hogan chants break out, Nick, during this match. When
he's incapacitated with the chloroform, right?
Yes, he gets hit with chloroform. Another DQ finish. Bing. And
your biggest matches.
There you go.
Your biggest match. Your IC title has DQ finished. Your the Undertaker match DQ finish. Tag titles DQ finish. What are you doing here? This is WrestleMania.
Right.
And we're getting all these DQ or finishes. They're terrible.
Yeah. Any thoughts on the match other than, stuff that's been said a million times?
We've said this. This is a top.
Look at all of this crap.
Top 10, top 5 worst match at WrestleMania.
But it was just terrible. I mean, ridiculous.
It's bad. And it's stupid. It doesn't make sense. He gets killed, taken away, comes back, and beats him up for a minute. I thought it was just awful from start to finish. And Giant Gonzales, he's freaking terrible. Like this guy is awful. I'm waiting to see I'm hoping Omos doesn't turn into this dude.
That's been the comparison.
His matches are. Why does someone always have to die in the Undertaker's matches?
Well, it might be better than the Nails match would have been.
I guess that's true. Would it though? Well, I don't know.
That's the thing I don't get. Like they have him kill him with chloroform, and I guess it's the Undertaker gimmick, but it's part of the reason why I don't like it. He just immediately is back to life, so it didn't phase him. Well, then what do you even do it for? So then we go to the back. Mean Gene is with Hulk Hogan before our main event. This interview, Hogan saying he challenges the winner. I'm back, brother, and I'm going to do all this. But this interview is known for one thing.
Yep.
Hogan says, I'm either going to fight Bret Hart or I'm going to, let's just let Hulk say it here.
I'd rather let Hulk say it.
That's why right now, Bret Hart, I'm issuing the challenge to either you or the Jap, brother.
So there's that. Not good, especially with the recent things that have come out. We'll say this. It was 20 years ago, or 30 years ago, almost 29. But it wasn't bad. You know who wasn't upset about? Mr. Fuji apparently was never upset about it. Todd Pettingale's in the crowd. Completely jobs some kid for having big ears. He just keeps ripping on this kid's ears. That didn't go.
To start the no bullying campaign.
Yeah, right. That's right. Be a star, kid. Blame your dad. Your ears are huge. Beat it. And then he interviews two guys who were in togas. They're like, yeah, we got these togas at Motel 6. And then they just start beating each other up. That might be the best part of the night. And then we go to the main event. Bret, Yoko. They're trying to keep Bret strong here. Yoko wins. They try to keep him strong because he gets salt thrown in his eyes. And for no reason, because this didn't go anywhere that I remember, they say Luger knocked out Bret at the WrestleMania brunch earlier in the day with his bionic forearm. And so he's all groggy going into the match. But then he doesn't end up fighting Bret. There's no feud. There was no feud there, right? Maybe on house shows?
I don't know!
This might have just been the 103 temperature thing that he had when he wrestled the Mountie.
Yeah.
I think they were just thinking, tell him Luger hit him.
Yeah.
Because that'll make his loss looks better.
Yep. So he loses.
In a terrible finish. I mean, dude, He just throws the salt in his eyes, which apparently had a body crippling, numbing thing in the salt because Bret just lays down and he pins him.
Hey, man, that chick on AEW is still wearing the pirate patch. That was like 3 months ago, and it didn't even come near her.
Yeah. But yeah, the paralyzing salt hits Bret, and not a good match. I think their match at 10 is better. It just, I don't know. It didn't work for me with Bret and this guy, and I was upset when Bret lost. I was just like, this sucks. And you're thinking you're going home, Ryan. This pay-per-view completely sucks. The worst thing you've ever seen.
Pure silence.
Bret loses. I was pretty upset that Bret lost. I kind of figured he might. Going into this, they were really, really pumping up Bret. They had the respect video and everything. They had another music video a couple of months earlier that they were running. They were really trying to pump Bret. But as I mentioned at the top of the show, the torch, man, they were torching. Hold up, brother. Nick, there's something in my eye. Nick, get it. Take over. Nick, get in there, Nick. There's something.
The greatest moment of the night.
This is where the power lies.
Go get him, Hulkster.
Go get him, Hulkster.
And he saves WrestleMania IX, people. I'm sorry. It's the greatest moment of the night. It was awesome. The Hulk comes down. And this is before, like, he just got done holding Vince up at gunpoint in the back. Where he demanded that Vince allow him to go win the title. And Hulk goes out there. The place freaking erupts, Sloke. It goes nuts. Watch the crowd. I beg you, even if you go back and just watch the Hulk part of this match, I would not watch the rest of the match. But the place goes nuts, folks.
You know who else went nuts? Me.
This guy.
I went nuts. I jumped. I was watching it at my little buddy's house, few years younger than me. We hated this show. Hated. Hulk comes out, salt in the eyes, leg drop, 1, 2, 3. We jumped off his bed. And like a proud father, because I was a few years older than this guy, I grabbed him by the head and kissed him on top of the head. I was a little weirdo. Over the moon that Hulk Hogan came back and won the belt. And if you people out there don't like it,
you fans can stick it, brother.
That's exactly what I think.
And here's the thing. We weren't all on the dirt sheets. We didn't have internet. So no one knew about anything with Bret and Hogan. We assumed they were friends because they were both faces. That was what we knew. That was all we knew.
Yep.
Okay. We didn't know that Bret was upset about this turnaround of events, and we can go into this thing. And I joked earlier, folks, you can listen to the Bruce Pritchard podcast. This was planned. Hogan didn't hold anybody up.
Yep. They wanted to get the belt on him. Bruce says the idea came up a few weeks before, which is probably when they made the deal to begin with. Now, did Hogan say, well, put the belt on me? Maybe. But somebody had to say yes. And we told you about the ratings. The ratings went up. Even the Torch has said it's the lowest buy rate of WrestleMania to this point. Well, everything was low to that point. But they have even said, yeah, if Hogan wasn't there, it probably would have been even worse.
Probably.
Yeah.
It would have. I mean, I'm sorry. You take Hogan, even in that crappy tag team match, you take Hogan off this card, you're losing some, I don't know, maybe it's only 10,000, but whatever.
Yeah,
you're still
they're losing more than that. Yeah.
You are. You're losing some. I'm sorry. I don't even think it's the worst match in WrestleMania history. It's better than The Miz and Cena.
Well, it's not even a match, but yeah.
I don't care. I'd rather watch this than The Miz and Cena.
Yeah.
Now.
Apparently the plan was the whole time he would then lose. They didn't even know it was called King of the Ring yet. At the Dayton pay-per-view, he would lose it back. Now, it does kind of make Yoko look stupid, but whatever. I thought it was great as a kid. It was great.
I can't believe Hogan booked this. He didn't. There's no way that Hogan came in and said, this is how it's going down, brother. Bret's losing here to the salt. I'm coming down. I'm squashing him.
Or I'm leaving.
I'm leaving.
a certain website I've seen numerous times from England say that he held them up.
Up yours.
He didn't hold them up. Where'd you get that from?
If anybody would have known, Bret would have said this. The company does what the company does.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's Vince's call. Vince is going overseas. He's selling tickets. He wants buy rates. He wants seats and butts and seats.
Yeah. Yep.
What are you going to do?
All right, Nick. You ready for the final run back?
Let's do it.
All right, if you're unfamiliar here, we have a couple of things we run down, a couple of categories here that we run down in the final run back. The very first is the line of the night. We've mentioned a couple funny parts or serious, what is the best line of the night? Bobby Heenan has quite a few of them.
That's who I chose. It's not, again, I don't know why. I was just watching it. It came out of nowhere. Bobby, it's during the Shawn match to Tonka when Sherry's down there and Bobby says, Sherry doesn't care who wins as long as it's not Shawn. And I don't know why that made me laugh. It just because obviously there's only two guys in the ring. It's just Bobby being Bobby, man. I miss him so much. He was the greatest. He is the greatest manager in history. And that would be my line of the night.
Mine comes from the last match of the night. It is Bret Yoko, and once again, it is Heenan.
He's a funny
One of the two guys, I believe it's JR, says Bret Hart is one of 12 children. Heenan goes, Helen had 11 in the first litter. That is the line of the night for me. Heenan, as much as I thought he was too much at WrestleMania 8, he doesn't save the show, but he tries to save the show here. He is the only thing that's keeps you watching for 2 hours and 45 minutes. All right, Nick, what has aged the best from WrestleMania 9? I'll say my first thing, the look of the show. They came right out. It had a theme. It was kind of the first time they ever did that. A couple years earlier at WrestleMania 7, they did have the big USA theme for Slaughter against Hogan. We just got done with the Gulf War. So they did have like flags and it was decorated, but nothing like this. And especially with the way they started it out with the macho and the camels and Cleopatra and all that. You would never know that this was literally bleachers in a parking lot.
I think I'm going to second that, Ryan, because it does. That's what they do today. It's a pageantry today.
Yep.
And before this, it was more of a serious boxing event or a pay-per-view fight. Or something like that. They didn't do this at 3. They didn't do this at 6.
Yeah, we'll put pictures up so you can see what it really looks like.
They did a great job.
What has aged the worst? And this is, I think every one of these we've done, it's the same answer.
Yeah, you can pick one. The stereotypes, the comments, the racial profiling. It's bad.
It could be any one of Heenan's lines and comments, but how about the funniest moment of the night, Nick?
I think we're going to Henning.
The narcissist Lex Luger. I'm going to go do it right now.
He can't finish his promo. He's Mr. Perfect.
Not anymore, brother.
This is so far from perfect, man. I got to go to the ring. I can't get out of here. It's just, oh my God. It was, I forgot about that, Ryan, until we started rewatching this. It's funny. I mean, it's great. Guys and gals, if you're out there watching this, go back and watch that interview. Probably you can just Google it. It's great, Mr. Perfect, because he's on it. He's another dude that's pretty freaking quick usually, and to see him mess up like that with the Mr. Perfect gimmick.
Right. Well, and he's talking, that's the best part about it. He is talking about how they've been in Vegas all week and he's been on fire. I've been lighting up the tables and I'm going to win today because I seem to not be able to lose. Then he can't say Lex's name.
The Lexus.
It's great, man.
It's hilarious.
Yep, Mr. Perfect.
All right, Mr. Perfect.
How about what is the most rewatchable scene? I'm going to stay right there. To me, that's the most rewatchable thing on this show because it's not a good show.
pitiful.
Either that or the Bobby intro. It's pretty funny to me, but one of those two.
Hogan winning the belt.
Who's mad now, boy?
That was my most rewatch. I mean, it was. I exploded, man. I'm sorry, people.
I did too.
You've got to look at this stuff from this era. It's the same thing as I get these texts from these kids, or I talk texts from my younger friends, or even my students today, and they're talking. Michael Jordan wouldn't drop 12 in the NBA today. Dude,
parents are probably idiots too.
You don't get it. You weren't there. All right. Stop. Hogan was awesome. It was huge. I'm sorry you weren't there. I'm sorry. It's hard to explain if you weren't there. I can see how you can watch a Hulk Hogan match today and say, you got to be kidding me, man. Because I feel the same way about like the Three Stooges or some of the stuff that's before my time. I'm like, this is not funny to me. Like, I don't. But then you got to look. It was to that generation.
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
Well, and there's so much revision because of some of the things that have happened in his personal life. For some reason, that makes his wrestling matches terrible.
I'm not talking about, and we're not talking about Terry Bollea.
Right.
We're talking about Hulk Hogan.
Right.
That's two different people to me. We're debating. You want to debate on his off-camera stuff, that's a different show.
To me, the best moment of the night is it is not even close. It is the end, and I don't care what anybody says on earth. It's the only thing that keeps anybody talking about this show. There is nothing else on this show anybody wants to talk about, good or bad. It is the moment of the show.
It's a WrestleMania moment. It's all we remember from the show. When you ask someone, run down the WrestleMania IX card.
Best match. Nick, I'm probably going to surprise you with the next couple things here.
I might too.
Best match. Go ahead.
Luger Hennig. I just because it's a wrestle. Again, you know me. I'm not the work guy. You know, I appreciate a good work match, but if it's John Smith versus Paul Peter, I don't freaking care. Like, I don't know who they are. It's like these dudes they bring out on certain shows, and they're like,
well, we're taping this Wednesday at 6:30, so wait a half hour or an hour.
And you'll see a dude that comes out and he'll get a 5-star match. I don't know who he is. Like, it just, Hennig and Luger are huge. The match wasn't terrible. Here's the thing for WrestleMania IX, it finished.
Yeah. Well, it's not terrible, but it had a storyline. The perfect guy against the narcissist, two dudes that think highly of themselves.
Egomaniacs.
Bret Yoko is my match of the night. That doesn't mean it's a great match, but compared to everything else, I do think the 10 match is better. Bret worked smartly with the whole he can't knock him down and how is he going to tie his tree trunk legs together and stuff like that. It worked for me. I didn't hate it at all.
It's because Bret may be he may be the best in the ring of all time.
Yeah, no question.
You can make an argument for it.
Absolutely, dude. A nitpick. You can nitpick
the show.
Outside of the existence of this event.
Jesus,
good grief.
Savage not being on the card. You've got the dude. You've got one of the greatest wrestlers in the history of the industry, and you put him in a position where he is doomed to fail.
Yeah,
you could go down this card with Shawn versus him, like you had said they had on the torch. That would have been a great match. Bret Hart versus Savage for the title would have been a great match. You could have put him anywhere.
Anybody.
On this thing.
Yeah, have him fight anybody. Hottest take. Put on your Skip Bayless hat. Give me a hot fire take.
Not gonna lie, the golden era is over. This WrestleMania is so far. I know you don't like 7. I like 7. I don't hate it like you do. I know you're not a big fan of 2. This is still so far beneath any other of the previous Wrestle. I mean, it's not even remotely close. We talked today about how far the Usos are above the other tag teams on SmackDown. They are closer to the other tag teams than WrestleMania 9 is to 1 through 8.
Yeah,
it is so bad. This has 2 matches that scream really WrestleMania that people wanted to see. We are in a new era. That's my hot, and it's not a good era.
You ready for this? I'd not seen this all the way through and forever. The Taker Giant Gonzales matches is not as bad as everybody remembers.
I say that you're a terrible reporter.
It's not. Because, now, that doesn't mean it's good. It does not mean it's good. But
I can't believe you're saying this. I cannot. Go ahead.
It's not as bad.
He's an idiot.
Worst WrestleMania matches of all time. We did a NCAA-style tournament. I can't remember if it made the Final Four or not. I believe it did. It was the number 1 seed, which means it's one of the 4 worst matches in WrestleMania history. It isn't. It's not that bad.
You sure, Ryan?
I think people just remember it that way because, first of all, The Undertaker was not the same freaking guy that he was 20 years later. The Undertaker is kind of not good here. And then, obviously, the Fur Man is out here stumbling around like Frankenstein. It's really not that bad.
And I have half the brain that you do.
The guy doesn't do too much. He's not trying to, do all these wrestling moves and whatnot. I think we just look back at it and how bad the feud was and how long it dragged on for, from Royal Rumble to SummerSlam.
The ending's bad. That may be it. If you look at me,
I agree with the ending. We mentioned that before. If you look at
the match, maybe I'm not going to go back and watch it.
I don't recommend. I'm just saying, people are like, that is the worst thing I have ever. It's not worse than freaking Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler.
Good point.
It's not worse than Bret and Vince.
Hart.
Backlund. Yeah, it's not worse than any of those.
No,
so
it's not.
But that's my hot take.
I can see that. I think it sucks.
Who won the night, Nick?
The Hulk, man. I know you all hate to hear it. The Hulk, dude. The Hulk won the night.
Biggest icon in wrestling.
I keep saying this. He saved the show. I'm not going to keep.
Saved it.
Saved it. WrestleMania, man. This was people are watching this with a revisionist history, like you said. You put yourself on this time. The Intercontinental title is DQ'd.
Yep.
The tag team title match that you didn't want to see,
right?
Didn't
DQ.
even have a finish. The Undertaker match, this big match, DQ finish, didn't finish at all. Okay, and you've also there's just
2 matches finished clean. 2.
Yeah, it's just not a good card. And at the end of that match, Bret Hart, the face, which I think is the first loss for a face in the main event match, isn't it?
Yes.
So the face loses. And I'm like, this could not be worse.
Right.
What could do anything to save it?
Excellent question.
This guy.
Hulk Hogan.
Hulkamania.
Yeah, I completely agree. He's the real winner. But I'm going to make a case for somebody else. And I kind of already did. Bret actually won the night because of revisionist history. I mentioned the torch. This is a quote from December 14th. House shows are drawing terribly with Hart versus Flair on top. Bret has 0 charisma. Quote, there's a deficiency to involve the crowd. They think this guy's just a stiff. As soon as this gets done, everybody's like, Hogan stole Bret's spotlight. This should have been Bret's night. They stole it. Bret screwed. He should be the champion. Bret won the night because all of a sudden everybody got on his side. And then moving forward, he had a pretty good 1993, did he not? Didn't have the title, but he was the man, not Luger. Wins King of the Ring. Has that epic showdown. The only thing watchable at SummerSlam 93 is Bret Hart. That whole thing with Jerry Lawler and Doink. Goes and wins the Survivor Series. The Owen feud starts. Wins the Royal Rumble. Has one of the greatest matches in WrestleMania or anything history against Owen. Then, after everything, even his own little brother turning his back on him, rises back to the top, beats the man from Japan who weighs 1 million pounds, overcomes everything. It's the hero's story. Bret is the winner of the night.
All I'm hearing is Hogan held up the show.
What's the legacy of this show outside of, or is it just possibly the worst show ever?
That's right. It's the worst of the first 10. I mean, if you're lobbing them into 10, I mean, you're going to get a run at 11.
9, 11, and 27 are in their own island.
Yes, they're terrible.
Why would this one be the worst if you were going to pick it as the worst?
No, I would argue a lot of DQs, no name matches really, other than the two.
Yeah.
Belts are not changing. Not even belts are changing. Not even changing. The winner, they're not winning. Like Michaels doesn't beat Tatanka.
Right.
And if you look, is there really a legendary match on this? I can look at 11 and at least say, I don't want any of the scheduled matches on this card. I don't ever want to see again.
Yeah. Well, and even maybe like Bret became legendary. I loved him at that point. He wasn't legendary at that point. It is the worst of all time. Appreciate everybody. Please, if you like this, check out some of our other videos. Please hit like and subscribe. Check out those other ones. We've got WrestleMania 8. We've got WrestleMania 3. We've got some SummerSlams in there. Survivor Series Rumble. Check those out. For Nick, Ryan, job guys. See ya.
Pleasure's all yours, Bucky boys.